Some people have quoted Albert Einstein as saying compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. I mean, seriously, go on YouTube, type that in, and you'll see all of these people saying what he said. And according to Snopes, he never actually said that. Second, they are often missing something very, very important that we're going to talk about today. Of course, look at the title of the episode and you'll see, but keep listening and listen to this amazing story that Amanda wrote to find out what they are missing and maybe why they're quoting Albert Einstein in the first place, or trying to.
In a bustling town nestled amidst rolling hills, there lived two builders tasked with an unimaginable feat: erecting the greatest pyramid the world has ever seen. One, with sweat on his brow, immediately set out to quarry massive stones, dragging them laboriously to the construction site. Each stone placed was a testament to his toil, but progression crawled at an agonizing pace. Meanwhile, the other builder retreated to his humble workshop, sketching, refining his plans day in and day out. He meticulously crafted prototypes and experimented with different techniques. Only when he was certain of his approach did he venture out to a quarry, and to the astonishment of all, his team effortlessly transported the stones, and progress surged ahead at an astonishing rate. The first builder marveled at the speed of the other one, and unable to comprehend the secret of the success that he was having, he said, "How did you do it?" With awe, he's asking this question, "How did you do it?" And the wise builder, the second builder, smiled and revealed his truth. It's not about the boulders we move, but the adjustments we make along the way. As the pyramids grew taller and taller with each passing day, so did the impact of the second builder's foresight. His small adjustments made in the safety of his workshop rippled outward, shaping the course of this monumental task. With each stone laid, the foundation of their success strengthened, propelled by the power of preparation and compounded by these tiny shifts. In the end, as the sun bathed the completed pyramid in golden light, the lesson echoed through the ages. For it wasn't merely about the stones stacked high, but the wisdom gained from embracing micro adjustments. In that lesson lay the key to unlocking the wonders of uninterrupted compounding, not just for the pyramids of old, but for the fortunes of tomorrow.
In a world where chaos seems to reign supreme, where uncertainty lurks around every corner, and financial markets are now more unpredictable than ever, there's one place you can turn to find clarity and control. Welcome to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Hey, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Amanda.
Join us as we dive deep in the world of personal and business finance
to assist you in navigating through the chaos and building the financial future you deserve.
We believe when conventional financial thinking doesn't get you where you want to go,
you need wealth wisdom.
So if you're ready to take control of your financial destiny,
tune in to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Because in a chaotic world, your money shouldn't be.
Subscribe now and never miss an episode.
That was an amazing story, Amanda. Now, can you tell us a little bit of how you came up with it, or what happened there?
Yeah, so I don't know if I heard this story somewhere and don't remember where I got it. I guess they say that genius is forgetting your sources, or if I just made it up. If you know where that story comes from, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to start saying it's mine.
Yeah, I mean, you did adapt, think about it, and use it. But the essence of that is compounding, right? I mean, literally, the one guy and the other guy, they were figuring out the effect of what he did in the back office, if you will.
Yeah. So let's Think of a time, well, so actually, before we jump into the whole content of today's episode, I want to remind you we're in this series of foundational principles for financial abundance. And this is foundation 7. If you missed 1 through 6, you don't have to go back and listen to them. You're still going to get a lot out of this episode, but there's also really great stuff. And in fact, these foundations build on top of each other. So you'll probably get more out of 7 if you've listened to 1 through 6.
Yep.
And then also, we're going to talk about this idea of compound interest. What, Brandon shared misquoted, according to Albert Einstein, not actual, but it's the 8th wonder of the world. And you might think you understand compound interest, but I want to kind of set that aside for a second and consider what might not you be seeing? What might you have missed? What could you see anew today? So ready? Good? Okay,
Awesome.
Deal.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
So think of a time in your life when you've come across something in the world and thought, how did they ever create it? Maybe it's the Great Pyramids in Egypt or in Central America. Maybe it was the Statue of Liberty or the Sistine Chapel or some kind of art in a museum or anything. Maybe it's the wealth of somebody you admire, right? How did they ever create their wealth? Yeah, maybe somebody. Perhaps it was simple as visiting a local art museum and you just see this and like how you would never have thought to create that thing. Now, that fable about the building of the Great Pyramids shows there's kind of 2 ways to create. One is just to rush in and painfully toil and figure it out, kind of the fire ready aim approach. And the other approach where you start small with small things and build your way up to large stones. So you could think of this, let's actually use a real estate analogy. You could think of, let's say you wanted to get into real estate.
Yeah.
You could go and painfully sweat and toil to buy a multi-unit apartment complex. And it's going to take you a lot of effort, a lot to make that happen. You're going to feel like the guy that's carving these big stones from day one and trying to make things happen. Or you could start with 1 single family or 1 flip that you're not even going to hold on to for a while. You can start small, learn things from there that then you're able to apply to the next one and then the next one and kind of create those experiments, that lab, right, of that workshop where you're learning things along the way so that eventually you're able to do that multifamily in a way that feels effortless almost.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's Monopoly, right? You start with the little houses and then you upgrade to the hotel. And then I think you do something more from that, but you don't start with the hotel, you start with the houses.
Or just getting the property and then building on.
You can't do the hotel until you have all 3 properties
4.
up.
It's 4. Yeah.
It's been a while since
I played Monopoly a lot as a kid.
so like it's similar in that, but yeah, we want the shortcuts. We want to figure out, okay, how can I get a hotel and what do I need to do? And then we forget that there's this thing called volatility that happens, right? So people are saying compound interest again is the 8th wonder of the world, but they forgot that there's this whole thing of ups and downs, and it's not actually true compounding because of, I don't know, whatever's happening there.
Yeah, so you could, going back to the builders, you can imagine the second builder, if he took a day off, that destroys his compounding, right? Or if he took a whole month off, that's going to stop the impact there. And this idea of like being able to start small, build up, you might actually get farther by going slow than by jumping in head first, right?
Like tortoise in the hare kind of thing.
Kind of, but it's like go slow so you can go fast.
Mm-hmm.
The people that jump in and try to do too much too quickly are often the ones that end up bankrupt or in a lot of debt because they try to go too fast too soon. Whereas those who build up slowly, reinvesting, right, or keeping contingency funds, things like that, They're building in a much more stable way so that they can have a longer term impact. This is really important for compound interest, is to think long term, because we wouldn't want to get a jump start and then destroy compounding because of that jump start. But if we build and we never break the compounding, the uninterrupted compound interest, we can get a lot farther. We got some numbers to show what this is like. Should we go there?
Yeah, let's show real numbers and really breaking it down and showing what, again, lack of challenges, or not lack of challenges, but the chaos in our finances, how it can affect us. So yeah, let's go to the screen. All right, so if you have 1% adjustments every week for 12 weeks, how much different will your finances be in the next 12 weeks? Most people would think 12%, right? It's actually, though, 12.68%. Can you explain why that is, Amanda?
Yeah, so the 1% adjustment you make in week 1, if you make another 1% adjustment in week 2, you're actually doing 1% of the 1%, which is 1.01%.
Yep.
And that keeps building up until after 12 weeks to get to 12.68%, not 12, because they're compounding on each other.
So if you get a boost because each 1% compounds every week thereafter, keep going to a year and it becomes 68% different. So that was just 12 weeks, but it's 68% because of uninterrupted compounds. 5 years, 260 weeks later, would be 329%.
Say that again, 329%?
Yep, 5 years, 260 weeks later, 329% on that little bit, right? If you skip a week or two, the positive change is still compounding for you too, right? But even better if you never break compounding, right? That's the problem. And what I see in a lot of financials is we break that compounding. That's a big number. That's what we're told all the time, is that's happening, right? But is it? I don't know. I don't see it in a lot of things.
Yeah, so let's say let's do the same thing, but like on just 4-week scale, where you do a 1% week 1. So now you're at 101%, right? 100 is where you started. Now you're at 100, you've gained 1%. But then week 2, you lose 1%. Most people, common math you would think you're at 100.
Yep.
But actually, if you take 1% of 101, let's do the math real quick. Make sure I do this right. I'm taking 101 and I'm saying I'm only going to have 99% because I lost 1%.
Yep.
I'm actually at 99.99.
So you're less than
where you started, right? So, but if I get that 1%, and even if I just take a week off, but I at least don't lose that 1%, now I'm still increasing. Maybe I'm at least at 101 or maybe 101.01, right? Depending on how that's growing for me. But it's the volatility, the interrupting of the compounding that can actually make you worse off.
Yep.
Even if you should be at the same or even increasing. There's this common exercise that folks use, and maybe I'll draw this one. You want to do the 150?
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, we're not saying, hey, don't do the market or do the market or any of that. We're just saying, hey, is that true math, right? So if you go up 100%, right, and then we go down 50%, right? We grew. We're like, oh, I went from 10,000 to 20,000, and then we went down 50%, right? And then we went back up 100%, and then back down 50%. Our average rate of return is 25%, right? So people would be like, hey, that's amazing. I have 25%. We show our reports. That's what we get in the mail. And we say, look, I'm at 25% rate of return. Now I'm amazing. Look how awesome of a stock picker I am. Right. But then we look at our money and we're like, wait a second, it hasn't grown. Nothing has changed. Right. Because the real rate of return is how much, Amanda?
Well, let's do the math. So you start with 10,000, you get a plus 100. What do you have at the end of the year?
20, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you start the year with 20.
Yep.
You have a minus 50. What do you add at the end of the year?
Isn't it 10?
10, yeah.
But is it more or less than 10? Or is
You
it
start
exactly
year
10?
three
Okay.
At 10.
Yep.
Increase by 100.
Maybe 20?
20. Yep, this gets too easy because
Yep.
we're repeating.
Yep.
And then you start 20. What do you end up with at the end of year 4?
10.
10. So you got an average rate of return of 25. Let's go back to elementary math. 100 minus 50 plus 100 minus 50 is 100. Divide by 4, 25%. But the real rate of return is what? 0, right? You have no more money than what you started with. Averages don't matter. What's happening here is you're breaking compound interest, right?
Yeah, and I actually think it would be a little less than 10, right? Because if you subtract.
If there were fees,
Yeah.
for instance, along the way, those kind of things. I want to grab something. That exercise is in this amazing report that we wrote called The 5 Simple Steps to Secure Your Future Outside a W-2. And step 1 literally has that same chart of the 100 minus, or the 10,000. Actually, we use 100,000 in this case instead of 10. But then we also show another portfolio that has a 5% increase every single year without breaking compounding, right? No negatives. And most people would say, I'd rather have the average of 25 rather than the average of 5. But we show in here how that works. So you can get your copy of this special report at wealthwisdomfp.com/report. Obviously, that's only step 1 of all 5 steps, but you can get this. It's free, complimentary. Go download your copy today.
Now, the title is How to Build a Great Financial Pyramid. And it's about building the foundations. And I would argue that the reason we're in a world of chaos, and again, our book is moving from chaos to still, is because a lot of people's financial house is built upside down. They thought they were getting certain things, 25% average rate of return, and that was going to be great for them. However, it was built on sand. And so what we want to think about is how do we build the solid foundation? That's what we talk about on our channel all the time. And where do we go from there?
Yeah. Ready to have your mind blown? Not you, you know this, but person, okay, get ready. Thanks for sticking with this episode so far. This is going to blow your mind. Okay. So let's say you do get a safe place to store your money and you get that compound interest going. There's not volatility, giving you negative returns. You feel like you're set. Are you going to leave that money alone, not touch it for 10, 20, 30 years, maybe even longer? Probably not. If you do, and you leave that for, as legacy money for children or a charity or, grandchildren, whatever it might be, nieces and nephews, do you think they're going to leave it alone? No, right? Like the purpose of money isn't to compile a big pile of money that no one ever uses. You're going to use it. But guess what? When you use it, you break the compounding.
Yeah.
At least if it's in that savings account or something like that. Well, what's super amazing and what we're going to get to as we continue in these foundations is a way that you can still use your money and not break compounding. Whoa, that sounds way too good to be true. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Like, holy cow, this has to be illegal is often what people think, but it's not. It's what rich and famous people and common Americans, millions of Americans have been doing, are doing. It's one of the only assets that's actually, it's maybe even the only asset that's paid dividends that have continued that compounding every single year for over 100 years, maybe close to 150, 200 years by now.
Yep.
Like this is legit. And too many people don't hear about it. What you're gonna do is subscribe to this channel, make sure that you hear about it, but also get this report. We talk a little bit about it in here and give you a special invitation to continue learning about it. The best way though, get the report, again, link wealthwisdomfp.com/report, but also to schedule a call with us to ask your questions, learn more about it that way too. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to help you break through to a stronger financial future. And we would love to do that. Ben, to tell you more.
Ready to take the next step towards securing your financial future? Whether you're planning for retirement, saving for your dream home, or you just want to make your money work harder for you, the team at Wealth Wisdom Financial are ready to assist you. And now, it's easier than ever to see how we might give you a boost on your financial journey.
Schedule a 15-minute discovery call with one of us today.
And let's discuss your questions and your financial goals together.
Don't wait any longer. Your financial freedom awaits. Schedule your discovery call at www.wealthwisdomfp.com/call.
Okay, welcome back. Hopefully we're getting to talk to you again soon. Brendan has another mind-blowing thing that he for sure wants to share, and then I'll wrap us up for today.
Yeah, so as I was hearing Amanda share this today, I was reminded of, I don't know if you remember this financial edutainer, Susie Orman, and she'll say, if you're like 35 and you put into this account, like a Roth account or something like that, how much money you'll have because of compounding, right? And
Yeah, if you just don't buy that latte once
don't buy
a
the
week or whatever.
latte,
Yeah.
blah, 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 it'll be fine. And she says it'll be at, you do this small amount, and you've probably seen the math on these things or seen videos, right? But they just show it going up and to the right, up and to the right. They do not show the real math of the volatility, of the things that happen to break that compounding, because it isn't compounding, it is in things that can go up and down. And
no, they literally go up and down every single day.
Yeah.
Right? Like in the time you've watched this episode, if you're watching it when the stock market's open, the stock market's changed.
Yep.
It could have gone up, it could have gone down. We don't know.
Yep. And that's the problem in that is there is volatility, and they don't account for that in this simple math. We just showed you by just going averages, that it shows 25, but you have 0.
Yeah.
Right. That's just showing that. Now, again, they're not going to show you that.
So what can you do with this information? We shared a lot today. I don't want you to feel paralyzed. You might feel like you're looking at a very big rock right now, and you're trying to figure out, where do I start to move that rock? And I want to use a quote that I was reminded of recently of Michelangelo.
Oh, not Albert Einstein.
Not Albert. This is legit. You can fact check this one, a real quote, where he said that when he would look at the rock that, was in front of him, he would see the angel inside, and his job was just to set it free. And guess what he would do? Chisel away at that rock little by little until the angel was revealed. How awesome of an approach to financial, wealth building, all those things is that approach, where you see the monumental goal that you have, right? You have this thing in front of you, you want to see it happen, and you approach it that kind of way. But one of the cool things is that Michelangelo, when he's making this angel out of this rock, he never adds the rock back on, right? He never interrupts the compounding. The more he chisels at it, the more the angel develops.
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. When you have an account that continues to grow, even if you need to use the money or take a break or, something like that, that you can still see your goals being accomplished and your wealth building. So again, reach out to us to learn more about that. And if you're liking these foundational principles, they're all in this book, 5 Smooth Stones. You can get your copy today at wealthwisdomfp.com/shop. We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to go, 5 episodes. If you really can't wait for those episodes, great to get this book. The physical copy is amazing, but we also have a Kindle version if you want to just tear right through it as quickly as possible. But again, remember, the power comes in the slow movements, the micro adjustments, the building of the uninterrupted compounding of both time and money. Yes, time compounds,
Yep.
right? That's what we're talking about, the stone builders. They weren't compounding money, they were compounding time. And you want to do both as you approach your wealth building. And this is a tool to help you do that. It talks about the time and the money elements as well. Thanks for joining us. We hope that you live long and profit. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss Foundations 9 and beyond. Yeah, sure, you can get the book, but we're also talking a little bit off the cuff, adding things that aren't in the book too as we go through these episodes. So thanks for joining us.
The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purpose of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation and can help you with simple math.
Real math,
Real math.
not oversimplified math.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.